Over 21 years.
21 fucking years.
And your hero decided to say, fuck you. Fuck them kids. Fuck everybody. I have seen enough.
He literally said, give up.
And you almost did. On that drive home.
Oh. When I tell you, I had a breakdown. When you want to see an adult male, in some regards, have a full-blown breakdown, you should have been in Inglewood, California on March 1st, 2025, approximately 7:30 p.m., when the giant image of Jonathan Felix Anthony Cena kicked Cody Raheem Rhodes in the balls.
The Cody cock.
Yeah. The Cody cock. The Codester. Kicked him in the balls and literally kept the most permanent V above his eyebrows for the remainder of the time that he was out there. You would have seen some shit in Inglewood, California.
This was the ball kick that put us on a different timeline.
Literally, all I did, guys, all I did was just move a pencil. That's all
You
I
stepped
did.
on a crack. You did something. I remember watching this pay-per-view and watching John Cena look at the camera and be like, Josh Bender, this is all your fault, you motherfucking piece of shit.
And all I did was just root for him, regardless of who he wrestled, for my entire existence as a fan. There might have been my first like 10 or 11 weeks of being a wrestling fan. My favorite wrestler might have been RVD, but very, very quickly did it turn into John Cena. And it remained that way. And you know what? It still remains that way. If John Cena is turning heel, I'm turning heel. Fuck America. France is the greatest country on earth. What else?
Those tariffs?
Dude, those tariffs?
Bring them on.
Bring them on. Bring all the tariffs. Let's get all the tariffs going.
Tariff everything.
Tariff everything. Tariff.
Especially Cody Rhodes merch. Cody Rhodes merch, 100% tariff.
Tariff the Cody Rhodes merch. Tariff CM Punk merch. Let's bring Vince McMahon back. Let's get Brock Lesnar in there. Let's make a Chris Benoit movie. Let's star it with
Let's get Kevin Dunn back, have him do his like shitty editing. Let's bring them all back.
Let's get Trish Stratus to do WrestleMania, but only if we get Triple H to come out there and make her bark like a dog.
Let's bring the Divas title back, and we'll put the title. We'll put it on
Santino Marella.
Yes, yeah, put it on Santino Marella.
And you know what? While we're at it, Falling in Reverse, he makes some good points.
Yeah,
he really does.
Yeah, let's put the strap on Adam Rose. Let's it's party time. Let's bring that back.
Oh my God, love that guy. That guy is turning the fuck up at Charlie XCX shows. I bet you he's just doing too much. But it's Brat Girl summer for him, even though it's March.
Bring the bunny back. Yeah, I mean at this point, like. For a Cena fan, what is there to live for?
No, like I'm not kidding, bro. There's nothing.
Like look at where the world is. Everything is going up in price. There's all this division among everyone.
Genuinely, the only thing when there's like absolute dog shit going on is I can go to like the shittiest pay-per-view during the PG era and just kick back. It's like member berries, like just watching John Cena just like squash the Miz or lift up a 500-pound viscera or
throw Big Show through a giant, or no, he got thrown through a giant light.
Yeah. Or just go ahead and watch, him saying that John Cena personally, no one else, just him personally caught and compromised Osama bin Laden. Those moments, like,
what about Stu?
What about Stu? What is he gonna do now?
What about fucking Stu?
How is he gonna go to work?
Yeah, he's the. Does he even exist now?
No, he's only like
He's just a camera. He's just a camera.
he's an
now.
inanimate object as of March 1st.
Don't even get me started on R-Truth.
We're literally the same age. Me and Ron, the Truth Killings, and I have not checked up on him, but we should. Actually, with come to think of it, your homie Thomas, shout out Thomas. R-Truth follows him on TikTok.
Yes,
right?
and by the way, my friend is not like he's not trying to do anything public or anything like that.
There's no videos.
Yeah, no videos. He doesn't have a podcast. He doesn't, he's not putting out music right now. None of that. But R-Truth for some reason.
Did he interact with him at all? Do anything?
I have no idea. They don't know each other personally, even though Thomas now refers to R-Truth as his close personal best friend.
I mean, if R-Truth follows you on Instagram, you're winning at life, but also I think you guys are personal friends.
This is the thing, though, that is bizarre. Is, as we said, there's so much division going on, especially in America right now, and prices are high, and it's just super tense. But John Cena has been the constant through all of this, through the last 20 years. John Cena was the constant during the economic fallout of 2008. He was the constant during the whole 2012 shit, the free Comey or no, God, who was that guy? Whatever.
Coney.
Coney.
Babyface John Cena has seen 4 U.S. presidents. 5?
All right. Yeah. Bush, Obama,
Trump, Biden, and then Trump 2.0. Yeah.
So, I mean, he has been through it all. When John Cena was champion, or won his first title, we were still downloading music off of iTunes. We were paying $1.99 a single. Now we have how many songs do you think you have playlist in Spotify?
I don't know, but I'll tell you
Thousands?
what. I don't know, but I'll tell you what. The first song was Basic Thugonomics. The second song was Bad Bad Man. The third song was The Time Is Now. I can keep going, but
it seems like the time is now for him to completely turn his backs on everything that he stood for. The hustle, loyalty, respect is now disrespect.
Rise above hate. You know what? Rise above love.
Yeah. Rise. Yeah. at this point, it's just like, and here's the funny thing is that there's so many people that love John Cena. It's almost similar to someone else that is very public that we know that has these blind followers that follow him blindly no matter what decisions he makes, regardless of how good or bad they are.
And you know what? I might be that person, not for the person that you're referring to, but you might start seeing me walking around in a "you can't see me" hat just because I don't, fuck it. I'm that down bad for my GOAT, John Cena. Still, I might be chanting "fuck him up," Cena, fuck at WrestleMania. I might be spray painting some Cody sucks stuff on my, like, he doesn't deserve that at all. But
but you gotta stand by your guy. You just blindly support. You just have to because once again, I know that this podcast is turning a little political, but at the same, you just have to blindly support your person. That's what it's all about now.
Let me ask you this. When you went to SummerSlam 2001 as high school or whatnot, were you rooting for Stone Cold? High school. What was it? Middle school?
In 2001
Elementary
I was
school.
I'm not that much older. Yeah.
Preschool.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know. I got all my years mixed up. As a community college person in SummerSlam 2000.
As a senior citizen in 2001 when you went to see Stone Cold Steve Austin versus Kurt Angle.
Were you rooting for Stone Cold? Who was the heel, right? At that time?
Yes, he was the heel. And think about that. You know what's crazy? And then Kurt Angle, babyface Kurt Angle, American Olympic gold hero, hero. And this would, a month later, would be a totally different thing because this is obviously right before 9/11. But like at the time, me as a kid, regardless if Stone Cold was a bad guy or not, I was going to blindly support him. And the thing is, the heel turn that Cena that just happened is going to be compared to a lot of things it already has. very similar to WrestleMania 17, where Austin turned his, back and joined with Vince McMahon. However, everyone that is comparing it, yes, I see the similarities, but there's two totally different things happening here. One, Austin, who's my GOAT, along with Jeff Hardy, was on top at that point for about 3 years.
Right.
Whereas Cena and Austin has always been, he was never a white meat babyface. He was always kind of, in the gray of being the cool, good, the cool, good guy that does bad things or whatever, the anti-hero. Cena has been the make-a-wish, do good,
dude
try
literally
hard.
granted wishes that day.
Yeah.
Like,
That's
I
wild.
really want to see where those kids, those reactions. I can't believe I am this person right now, but I'm just like, I hope it was a think of the children moment where like he kind of nudged them and being like, hey, I'm gonna do some bad things tonight. I just want to let you know, like, I appreciate you and whatnot. I'm sure that didn't happen because John Cena is the most evil person on planet Earth now. But it's crazy that even hours before then, he is still that person. And I always thought, as time goes on, he would not be that person anymore. He has less screen time on WWE TV as time goes on, which, these younger people, it's like they would cling to Cody or Jey Uso or LA Knight or whoever, but still, like, years and years after he is far removed from being on TV every single week, there's still just, he is that person. And had he had not been that person, I'm not saying it doesn't make sense for him to turn heel or anything like that, like, by all means, but like, it blows me away that he is still that person years and years later. Some of these people, some of these kids that he was granting these wishes for, like, in the last week, last year, 2 years, weren't really, some of them weren't even alive when he was a full-timer every single week. Like, he started fizzling out, 2015, 16, 17?
Yeah, I mean, I think 2014 was probably his last full year, right? I mean, his last main event of WrestleMania was 13.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's crazy to think that Cena has sort of had one foot out the door for over 10 years. But at the same time, he's been such a constant. And going back to the, where this ranks on the greatest or the most devastating heel turns of all time. What's interesting is being in the figure collecting thing, you'd think that a lot of the majority of people that collect figures are kids. No, it's 45-year-old men. And
Facts.
And I'm only in my early 30s, so I'm still young and in this game. However, I saw people talking about it in that for also tons of Republicans and all that, which is fun. Whatever, people do their thing. But what I found hilarious was that there's such a bias depending on what generation that you came up in, where people today, obviously us, are absolutely devastated by the heel turn that we saw with Cena. Back when Austin turned heel at 17, I was 8. I was 8 years old. So it was one of those things where, like, yeah, at the time it was crazy, but it's not like I had 2 decades with Austin the same way. But what I found crazy is that so many people, someone had posted, like, is this crazier than when Hulk Hogan turned heel at Bash at the Beach 96? And it's almost like they got laughed out of the room because everyone was like, fuck no, absolutely not. Hogan, like, at the time, no one had ever seen anything like this. Hogan's was way more impactful. It went on to create the NWO. What's Cena's going to do? Blah, blah, blah. And to me, that's such a bias of, like, yes, you probably think it was crazy at the time because you were 12 years old or whatever in 96. And, Hogan was say your prayers, eat your vitamins and all that. However, as Howard Finkel says, you have to think too that even Hogan wasn't a straight babyface as long as Cena. Hogan's, let's go by WrestleMania 1 standards, or even like go back to maybe 10 to 12 years, which is still a long time to be a good guy. But if you think about it, and it's not being talked about a lot, it's not like Hogan was a full-time wrestler at the time either. Hogan had started to move on to Hollywood in the early 90s and everything too. He had left WWF. He had started doing his shows, his Thunder in Paradise and all this stuff. and he was wrestling, and the Hulk Hogan character was just kind of floating. So it's very similar to what happened with Cena, but I think the difference here that we have to think about is overall time, is that Cena has been a good guy through and through for over 2 decades. Kids have been born after Cena's babyface turn and are now adults. Some of them can even drink.
I feel very weird weighing in on this because I can't really give as I personally, this is just my opinion, I don't know if I can give as definitive of an answer of, is this the greatest heel turn of all time? There is no debate that it is one of the greatest heel turns of all time. It's not like it's a top 3. It's the 2 you just mentioned are the only other contenders, of Austin at 17, Hogan at Beach. But I think in terms of Cena and Austin, I think that this is truly, like, without question, above the Austin turn. That they kind of seemed like they turned him for just kind of the fuck of it, to shake things up. And I think that with Cena, there's a lot more meat on the fact that, like, 1, it is kind of a now or never thing, and 2, I'm maybe this is wearing the tinfoil hat a little bit. I think he pitched them this, that it's just something that he has wanted to do for a long time and run with it and just take that risk. When you compare it to Hogan, this is a weird one that I just don't know about weighing in on, because I just didn't really live through it. I was an infant when that happened. I wasn't watching WCW, and I know of all of the things that have happened since then, and the things that have resulted, the NWO, and how massive it was for media at that time. I know, hearing people saying, like, it literally made the news and, it was on newspapers and everything like that. Okay, sure. But, like, this is transcended other forms of media, that, like, I'm just seeing this on things that have absolutely nothing to do with wrestling. And at least in this century, there was no other angle like this. There was it really is one of the biggest moments in modern day wrestling. Like, and I can only say this, like, just being a Cena mark for 20 years, like, I felt things in that moment physically that not necessarily like legitimate heart, maybe a little bit, but like actual, like, just fucking jolts and think that, like, and for fucking professional wrestling storylines to make me feel that. And you can pan to all the people in Toronto at the Rogers Center, or call it the Sky Dome, whatever. But you could pan to a lot of people, and they were doing the same things. It was just such an insane moment. And I don't think I'll ever forget, like, just how I felt then. With that said, that happened. I went down the escalator from the area that I was watching it in the Cosm, and kind of metaphorically brushed myself off. And ultimately, being someone that is at a certain point in his fandom where I'm just more so very excited to see storylines and just interesting things go on in stories and everything, I am now excited and here for the ride. But I'm not going to lie, I won't say 100% of it, but there was a large part of my childhood that is officially just
shook.
It's gone. It's gone. And I
rattled to the core.
I said that was going to happen the day that he does retire at the end of the year, but and I'm saving part of my childhood for that day. But yeah,
yeah,
insane.
Well, and also just to touch one more time on the gravity of his heel turn versus heel turns of the past is, I was a toddler in 1996, so I don't have a whole lot of room to talk about what it was like, but just being a student of watching wrestling my whole life and everything, and going back, and also I love going back and watching WCW. And I did watch some WCW when I was a kid, but it was more of a toy line to me at that point. It was, going to Target, or Toys R Us or whatever, and getting the Buff Bagwell and the WCW ring. And it was just something that was kind of on at the time. My older brother was a wrestling fan, so that's kind of how I got into it. But there are clear differences in the sense of, when you watch that Hogan turn, it's just a leg drop, really, but like people are throwing trash in the ring. And I think the main difference as to why that must have been so shocking at the time is no one had ever really seen anything like it up until that point.
But also,
I was just gonna say, because like wrestling fans are a lot smarter now than they are then. And I mean, and it was the 90s, people were getting smarter to it, but I think it like, if you're a wrestling fan now, even if you're a casual wrestling fan, if you're someone that watches wrestling like every week and you just enjoy it, I'm pretty sure you still keep up with it a little bit on the internet. And, if just like anything else, if you like a TV show, you're looking up stuff on the internet. If you like, bands, you're kind of keeping up with them. So at the time, it must have been super shocking. I think what makes this Cena one insane, besides the amount of time that he's been a babyface, is the scope and the platform that WWE has now. That Hogan turn happened before the Monday Night Wars, really. I mean, okay, like, actually, I should say, for all the people that are about to correct me, yes, like Nitro and Raw were going back and forth at the time because Nitro started in 95. However, at that point, though, Hogan turned on, like, he made his turn in WCW, the second biggest company in the world at the time. Obviously, 97 would change things. And this whole heel run would actually kick off the NWO, which led to them really winning, like, taking on the Monday Night Wars for 83 weeks. That said, though, the platform now is so much more massive. WWE is so much more massive than a WCW in 96 was on almost every scale that you can imagine. And having Travis Scott there in the ring.
Having Drake sit in the front row.
And not be acknowledged
at all. I have a weird, like, this is kind of a wild card prediction. If Travis Scott, I thought he would go ahead months and months ago. I'm like, okay, he's a shoo-in to play out Jey Uso, and that's definitely not going to happen now. But if he plays out John Cena and he plays sicko mode, I mean, there's a chance we can Drake is there in some form, but nonetheless,
for some reason, I thought you said like I think there's a chance that Travis Scott and Drake are gonna have a match at WrestleMania. I'm like, what the fuck is this, Def Jam? Like,
absolutely. Fuck yeah.
Def Jam Vendetta 2025. Let's do it.
Yeah.
Can you imagine? Actually, side note, imagine a new Def Jam Vendetta, but with all like the current rappers and everything. Pretty sick.
I need my nostalgia. I think when it comes to like, a lot of people are also just saying like, no, Hogan's was better immediately, just because of the reaction of how people were then. Like, look, the protocol of throwing shit in the ring versus now, like, you are immediately ejected from, like, there is a level of civility that is very much like abided by now versus in the 90s. Like, the last time I can remember people throwing things in the ring, and this was so long ago. This was when Paul Heyman turned on RVD to help Big Show win the ECW title, like 06. And to be fair, that wasn't when ECW and SmackDown like fused together for tapings. It was still very much an ECW crowd. So I kind of want to asterisk that a little bit, but that was the last time.
Also you'll hear Cornette and a bunch of old timers talk about how in the 80s and everything, it was like, oh, it was crazy. Like, we had to run out and, run into our cars and get police escorts, and we couldn't go through the crowd because someone would stab us or someone would like, shiv us. If it would happen back then, but especially today, you can't just fucking shiv someone in a crowd, like a wrestler in the crowd, because you don't like them and not have major consequences. Remember when that dude tackled Seth Rollins like a few years ago? It was coming down and everything, and then he got arrested. It's just like, and there's phones everywhere now, so and on top of that, once again, back to the fact that people are just smarter about the product. There's probably a lot of people that were in the crowd that night in the 90s that still thought wrestling was legit and, were like really upset, but it's not like you can't just flip out with no repercussions now just because you're a fan and you're upset about what happened in the ring. Like, you can't just like overstep your boundaries and everything. It's like it's the classic thing of, you watch old wrestling from the 70s and 80s and you'll see like an old woman in the crowd who's watched wrestling forever, and she'll like try to hit the wrestlers with her purse and everything. And, I'm sure today and everything, they get a kick out of that in WWE. I'm sure no one's going to arrest like an old lady or whatever. But at the same time, it's a different world now than it was in 96, and everyone's going to have biases. The people in their 40s and 50s that saw that back in 96 are probably going to hold that to much more than people today that see Cena. And that's fine. Like everyone has generational biases. That's like what creates nostalgia and everything. So it's just the fact of the matter is, regardless of where you land on it, Cena turning heel during his retirement tour.
Yeah, this is
crazy.
not recency bias. It's genuine. Like there's so many layers to like, yeah, he's 10 months away from retiring, and just that one segment, the last few minutes, it creates so many questions of like, what is he gonna do now? Is he gonna dress the same? Is he does he have new music? Is he gonna talk? Like there's a world where he goes out there, he doesn't say anything just to draw
heat. Me off so much. Imagine he just gives no explanation.
Yeah, zero explanation, which he technically already did that. He gave no explanation at the press conference. You know, he was not on Raw. He's not going to be on Raw next week. He will, I believe, be on the Raw after that. But again, it could be another press conference thing. So it leads to the question, like, and I already kind of believe there is a little bit of an answer here already, but like, why would he sell his soul? And I think that
why Cena?
Why Cena? Why get panned, dude?
We're not making enough money in Hollywood.
No, apparently not. Well, it's not that he's not making enough money in Hollywood. It's just that money in Hollywood does not lead him to win matches in the WWE because, as he pointed out, he has not won a match in. I mean, okay, he won at the Chamber, but a one-on-one match in the WWE, he hasn't done that in quite a while.
Well, here's the other thing too, is it's the thing that's shocking, and I think this is for a lot of marks, hardcore wrestling fans, whatever you want to call them, is not even that Cena's a heel, but it's that WWE went through with it. Because there's been so many times over the last 10 years and everything where you're just like, oh, like what if they turn Cena heel? And then they're not going to do that. They're not going to do that because he's the gravy train. He's the thing. He was the like the baby face that was pushing the merch, selling the figures, doing the Make-A-Wish. But now that Cody's in that spot, it makes sense that, you know, well, it now or never. It's just so crazy that they decided to do it, you know, 10 months before his retirement. But imagine this though. If you're a heel, you're not held to, you know, your word at all.
I was also going to say that. I was like, look, there's also a world where maybe he doesn't retire after 10 months now. Like there's everything gets flipped on its head with this, which is just another layer of what makes this so exciting and intriguing and interesting.
It's like, are they going to do something where they have a nice run with Cena where he sort of is like, well, you know what? I said I was going to retire, but you know what? No, I'm going to stay around and I'm going to terrorize. Or are they going to treat it Shawn Michaels a la 2005?
They totally could as well.
Where he had that like quick run as a heel, a few months or whatever, and then kind of got back on track.
Yeah, I think that my inner fanboy does not... I would like Cena to retire as a babyface.
But imagine if he didn't. Imagine if he like went out like
Eric Bischoff style, like just getting carried out of there, like, or Batista quitting. You know, like that is the end of this character, which is insane. And honestly, like on one hand, it's sad, and on the other hand, it's like, well, it could happen, and you know, we'll see. But it'd be crazy. But it's what I appreciate is even him, he doesn't want to do the whole nostalgia thing that I think we're expecting of like, we're doing this nostalgia wave, you know, show up, say hi, and thank you for 20 years or whatever. I'll see you again one day or something. And that's it. No, he's literally continuing his legacy, and it's
was it in Toronto that he announced his retirement?
Yeah, Money in the Bank last year.
Yeah.
Crazy. So
how long do you think they've planned? Honestly, though, how long do you think they planned for him to turn heel? Do you think that this has been like the original plans where it was going to be like a goodwill tour, or do you think from they've been planting these seeds.
I would like to think that it's been planned for a very long time. Like that's just me. You know, and that goes for even all the subtle things like the Rock throat slit at Bad Blood. Like, what the fuck is that?
Dude, people,
That's so stupid. And then it literally paid off with, you know, we know exactly what that was now.
People are literally taking this all the way back to when The Rock beat the crap out of Cody Rhodes the first time. You know, we're in the rain in Chicago and everything, where he's like, look at you now, right? And then Cena is in the background, like on the semi truck and everything. People are like, look, it started back here, which, I mean, that would be some crazy booking by, you know, The Rock and Triple H at that point. But I mean, it's just wild to think that this could have been planned for a long time. But I'm so curious eventually when all the smoke settles and, you know, The Rock seems to, you know, at press conferences just tell everyone everything. So I'm curious at some point when we learn how far in advance this is.
I'm very excited for just the amount of look. What the last time John Cena was a heel, he was very entertaining, but he had more of a comedic heel aspect to him that I believe is going to it's not going to be present at all. I think we are going to get the absolute ruthless, just most evil, fuck everything type of energy.
It's like Jericho 08-esque.
No, I think it's going to be worse. Like
that'd be sick.
I think it's going to be worse. Like the ways that, and I'm not saying any of this is going to happen, but like, imagine a world where maybe Jey Uso and Gunther main events, and much like Chamber 2010, Vince, The Rock, comes out and is like, congratulations on you winning your title. Now you have to face this man. And Cena comes, and that's how he gets 17 right there. And then defeats Cody, 18. Like, you can have him run, a train through everyone, and do it in these ways where it's like, in the instance of Cody, you had this title reign lasted a year, right? A full 12 months, and only for, let's say Cena does win, but it's in an absolute dog shit way, right? Like, that's for a heel aspect, like, that's amazing. Like, you know, like, kind of almost a la the way Austin beat The Rock at 17, just relentless, sloppy chair shots, you know, or, you know, throwing out a ref, The Rock comes in, you know, the fastest 3 count ever, like things like that. I want to see just absolute, like, rewriting these rules in a way that are so dirty. And I think if you have him as a heel, there is no half-assing it, and I don't believe that he's going to. I think we are in for just some crazy shit going forward.
And also, too, if you think about it, John Cena has always been like the best good guy. So him being the complete antithesis of that is going to be amazing to see. I like how some people were pointing out, they're like, do you think, because Cena over the last few months has been overly cheesy, like in the ring jumping like, oh my God, you guys, you see what's happening? Like,
dude, when it was him and Jey Uso on the apron and he just,
like, whoop, like, yeah. So, I mean, but him just being stoked and happy to be there, be like, come on, guys. Like he's just been kind of like the happy old dad the last few weeks, or the last few months. And someone was kind of pointing out, like, what if he was just embellishing all of that kind of cheesy, like, excited to be here, happy-go-lucky stuff. So that way, when the turn happened, it was like, whoa. Because Cena looked dead in the eyes. When that camera back, it doesn't even look like his face. Like,
it's a look that you've never seen. Like,
you've never seen Cena make that face
ever.
Like,
it's oh my God. It's just thinking about it, I just want more of this.
And people are like, oh, maybe he's gonna get like a tan and use and put, like, you know, do some hair cover up and stuff. However, he's gonna embrace
does he do
paleness and the baldness.
Does he do Dr. Eggman haircut or something, or just like shave off? I don't know if he'll do that because he does have movie obligations, but if he didn't,
I just think that it's like, yeah, he could do like the cool Hollywood thing and get a tan and use some topic on the back of his head or whatever. However, people give him shit for that all the time. It feels like such a heel thing to lean into it. Be pale, be like, have the bald spot and everything. That's the funny thing about Cena is that he has both the, I obviously care about, my body and my health because like, he looks crazy good for being almost 50, right? He's in crazy shape. But the fact that he also like, he lets himself bald, he lets himself like not get a tan and all that. He clearly doesn't care about that stuff. It's just so funny because you'd imagine that wrestlers that are that into their bodies and that into taking care of themselves, they're also sort of like, I better get that taken care of, or I better get some like hair transplants, I better get veneers or whatever. He clearly like balances both.
He has some priorities in some areas, and then other ways he just doesn't care. I mean, look at his fucking social media. Like, he could be. I mean, he is very red hot in terms of like follower accounts and everything on social media, and for like the meme communities and stuff. Obviously, like his social media content is enjoyable, but outside of that, he very clearly is just it's nothing too overly serious for him, which I think it's funny because on some aspects it's like that might rub some people the wrong way, but on the other hand it's like, well, you have to give this man credit for just straight up not caring about stuff like that. It's funny because as I was it's only been a few days, but there's been multiple instances where I have gone around from, friends, acquaintances, just hangouts of people that do not watch wrestling, and I have shoved what is going on down people's throats. Last night,
my heart is broken and you're gonna fucking listen.
Dude, last night my girlfriend had a show in her first show.
Good job, Haley.
Yeah. Good job, Haley.
Haley Byers on Spotify.
Haley Byers, Spotify.
Produced by me,
produced by Jake Bonesteel.
So, by all of us. So
please, for the love of God, don't make me name drop you. Out now. That's the EP. Her show is going on, and at the very end of it, long day. I had some family there, and got a few drinks with them, and 10 minutes later, I realized, I'm 4 shots in. Hell yeah, I'm drunk. And then our mutual friend August, shout out August, absolute homie.
Gusser.
I got like somehow we were talking about hockey. I was like, oh yeah, you don't really watch hockey. All right, we're talking wrestling, and he does not watch wrestling.
Yeah.
But I was like, no, you got to hear this. And I feel very bad, August, if in the 0.01% chance you're listening, I'm very sorry that we I was like, yo, you're going to listen to me talk about my childhood hero become a bad guy and how I'm feeling.
Well, it's like my girlfriend posted this TikTok of me the other. It's like the equivalent of when like your girlfriend or something is like, okay, no, you don't understand. Taylor Swift, she's putting out this album, but then she said this about this person. No, yeah, but we think it's literally if like a white girl like that's like, yo, can you explain this to me in ways I'll understand? It's if Taylor Swift attacked Sabrina Carpenter at the Grammys and then aligned herself with Kanye West and then left together. That is what this was. Yeah. But I just absolutely insane. Travis Scott is Kanye West in this scenario, by the way. Dude, people look, I feel like a lot of people's boomer energy are just showing a little bit with being like, why is Travis Scott there? He does not belong there. Look, and this is a actually very valid way I feel like you can compare it to the Hogan heel turn and just the NWO and everything. When Dennis Rodman was with the NWO, he attracted a lot of non-wrestling fans to that product, and sports media like ESPN, Sports Center, like people covering this shit that wouldn't, especially in that time, wouldn't, right? You look at it's the exact same thing with Travis Scott. You look at like 21-year-old stoner kid going to like Rolling Loud and shit, like, hype beast wearing Jordan 4s and everything that, don't really pay attention to pro wrestling. But Travis Scott is like Jesus Christ to them. And now that he is involved with this, that is, I cannot like overemphasize how massive of a crowd that is that they're tapping into. So even if you don't like
him, or you don't like rap music, or you just think he's too controversial because, you know, the Astroworld shit that happened, or whatever the case, there is no question that this is a huge deal for him being there. I personally am, you know, a pretty casual Travis Scott fan. Like I like, you know, probably 11 songs.
Well, and I also think that it's important for people to remember we are all introduced to things usually through something else, right? So it's like, I can't think of a great example right now, but imagine, you know, one of your friends, like you really like Metallica, and one of your friends is like, dude, like Metallica was on South Park. And you're like, oh, I've never watched South Park. Let me watch the episode. And then boom, all of a sudden you like South Park because you watched it, you tuned in because, you know, Metallica makes an appearance on there. And then boom, now you're a South Park fan. And that's just what it is with anything else. We are all brought to things by something else.
I'll do you one better. This one's super random. My family growing up, big, you know, couch potato, love to watch game show type energy in the house. One day, 4 or 5 years old, like kindergarten time for me, like they were watching The Weakest Link. And there is an episode with wrestlers on there, and it was from the Attitude Era. I remember it was like Triple H and Stone Cold and Kane and Big Show. I wasn't watching then, and I didn't continue to watch for a few more years, but I knew those names once I jumped into it because of that episode. And like that is you know, that's that in a way is, in a really weird way, that's almost that is an introductory to wrestling for me way before I even watched it.
Or like it was the opposite for me with wrestling, where I was a fan of wrestling growing up, and then I discovered all these bands, like when Disturbed did Stone Cold's theme, Insane Clown Posse, like all the pay-per-view themes, you know, all the bands that were doing stuff then. And you end up discovering music through wrestling and vice versa. There's people, believe it or not, there's people that watch wrestling that, you know, don't really listen to Travis Scott. They're probably gonna go check him out and be like, oh, I love this shit.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So
it's going to be, you know, what's crazy about Travis Scott is, I mean, right now, probably like a 95% chance he'll be at WrestleMania. He performs at Coachella that same weekend. And I know that Allegiant Stadium to Indio, California, where Coachella is held, you know, it's probably like a 2.5, 3 hour drive. I'm sure he'll like private jet it over there or something, but it's crazy that literally there's a good chance he might play the same night, to be honest. I know Coachella runs to like midnight, but what a crazy thing of like, you go in, do your main event spot, Mania, say bye to everyone, fly out, and then perform for literally 100,000 people at Coachella.
Yeah.
The same fucking weekend.
Well, you know what I love too is there's a video of Travis after the whole thing where he's just like, dude, he literally says, low key, I think that might be better than performing.
Yeah.
Which you gotta think, like, I see, and I fuck with that. I think that's cool. There's so many times and there's so many good reasons to like not like when celebrities get involved with wrestling because they're clearly just there for a paycheck. A la the guest Monday Night Raw general managers way back when, like 15 years ago. Clearly you had people that showed up that just did not care. They knew nothing about wrestling. They had like no desire to be there. But now WWE is in a position where they're getting people that actually like grew up, you know, watching it and like are fans. So Travis is a fan, and obviously it seems like he was stoked to be there. That's the kind of person I think that you want there. Like who, like, it's not fun to watch some celebrity who's clearly like like, you know, feels like they're pained to be there.
And to be honest, like, look, I don't think it's very fun to watch other people say, hey, you can't be here when they are clearly super hyped on being there. Like, and I think that is, to be honest, like a big portion of people right now with him. So, and you know what, like, to be fair, with a lot of, like, I know with Bad Bunny and Logan Paul, you know, in 2021, that was definitely the case with that. And obviously with, you know, in the case of Logan Paul, you know, he stuck around and everything. But
Bad Bunny gained the respect too, because remember when he first came out, he was like performing his song Booker T or whatever.
Yeah.
And people were like, oh, like, what is this and everything. And then eventually over time, once he got in the ring and everything, it's like, okay, yeah, no, he's down for this.
Here's a reason why you should probably be, if you hate Travis Scott or something, or you don't get why he's here, or you want to see his ass get beat, to get excited, because man, that Cody Rhodes receipt is gonna be something.
The shit out of Cody Rhodes.
He gave him a black eye, I believe, and
busted eardrum.
Yeah. dude, I don't know what he's gonna do. And to be fair, he is on a level of success that like, yeah, you just don't really know. And also, Cody isn't that like fucking stone cold, I'm gonna fuck you up and shove your shit through your mouth type of energy. But we'll see, because it's definitely
there's definitely some people over dramatizing it, being like, oh, like he slapped him so hard. It's like, one, he's not a worker, so there's that. Two, I'm like, you gotta think that The Rock, Cody, Cena, everyone was saying like, just lay it in. Like, they always tell celebrities that lay it in, otherwise it's going to look like shit, because people aren't used to throwing fake punches or fake slaps. Now, it was funny watching Drake, because he took a hot minute to like position him, like to figure out what he was going to do, and then just boom, like slapped him so fucking hard. But at the same time, people are over dramatizing. Like, remember, Cody Rhodes wrestled in that Hell in a Cell with his pectoral torn off. I'm sure the slap in the face wasn't great, but I'm sure he's probably also had worse.
Yeah, he's also had worse. And I'm sure that whatever contact high was going on for him probably made it a little bit better as well.
Yeah.
I actually, sequel to Jeff Goldblum last week, I have stood pretty much toe to toe with Travis Scott at one point during a special event. And dude is my height, which I was surprised about. But
yeah, he looks taller.
Yeah, he looks taller. But also, I mean, The Weeknd was also there that night, and that dude is short. Which I also, respectfully, short king. I expected The Weeknd to be like 6'5", but he's not. But yeah, Travis Scott in that kind of 6'1" area. Did not get a contact high from him that night. But nonetheless, it's going to be really exciting to see what else that he does. Side note, because I am kind of in that wannabe belt collector area right now. I want WWE to drop that belt so
hardcore.
bad. I want that thing. For it? If we get monetized here, the first fuck you purchase I'm gonna get is probably gonna be that belt.
Yeah, throw it on the like at the tax return or the Affirm.
Yeah,
12 payments of $100 or whatever, or $50.
That shit will go for like it's. Yeah, I want that belt. I also like this is also just a very ignorant purchase, but like either the sports belt of either the Chargers or the Lakers. But at some point, again, on my end of a tax return with something that we got going on here, like
yeah, I'm too deep in with the wrestling figures right now. I did the other night though, after the Chamber, WWE had this crazy like clearance sale, so I went a little crazy on that at 4 a.m. in the morning. It's so funny because I don't get drunk. I don't drink or anything like that. But something will just happen where it's just a blind rage of spending money, just throwing stuff on the credit card. So next week we'll do a little unboxing, because they said 2-day shipping, but nothing came through except I did get this little one that came in. Everything else is coming in like a week. And it's nothing crazy, but just another Austin one to add.
Honestly, that's
$10.
a sick design. I'm not even gonna look. I can't lie. I am usually a hater when it comes to a lot of WWE shop merches. I much more am a fan of like streetwear clothing brands that do collabs with them, like a
That's
Culture
mostly
Kings
what I bought.
or something.
That's mostly what I bought, was stuff from like other like collabs and everything. That a lot of that stuff was on sale. But yeah, a lot of the modern designs.
Yeah, exactly. But that one's nice.
$10. So yeah, they had a bunch of deals. I finally got myself. No, I'll wait. I'll save it for next week.
Yeah, save that. Yeah, keep them wanting more.
Yeah,
just
exactly.
like Jonathan Felix Anthony Cena. What did you think of Pat McAfee going off?
Here's the thing. I have a soft spot for the Canadians. I'm an American that loves other countries more.
Fuck yeah.
So
we love everyone.
Yeah. We love everyone.
We do. We literally
But like,
do.
just think of all the sick Canadians out there. Jim Carrey, Canadian. Edge, Canadian. Christian, Canadian. Like, there's so many great like Canadians.
My
like
girlfriend, Canadian.
Yeah. Avril Lavigne, Canadian.
Avril Lavigne.
Who else is Canadian? Your girlfriend's Canadian? No.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Like, what do you mean?
Like she's her. Oh, it's her tea, but yeah, she's Canadian.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, it's fine. My grandparents are from Canada, so I don't know if that Moose Jaw, Saskatchewan. So I don't know if that Anyways, it's so crazy because your girlfriend doesn't have like a flapping head. Like,
well, I mean, it's
I'm not your buddy, guy.
Yeah, I'm not sure about it, guy. Damn, that was pretty good. Yeah, anomaly Canadian that grew up in the South, but
It's wild.
yeah, it is crazy.
Born in Canada?
No.
Okay,
no,
but
just had blood from there.
Yeah. Well, hey, if that gets you over there, just in case shit goes down.
Oh, dude, we've been talking about it for a hot minute, but yeah, I think
McAfee was in the moment.
Look, okay, he was in the moment, but also, and I actually genuinely, I don't know if I'll turn this into a reel or not, but I would love to know if you go to a Toronto Raptors game, if you go to a Vancouver Canucks game, if you go to a Montreal, like something that has sports teams, but is in a league that is mainly in America, do they still play the American national anthem there? I only ask that because if the answer is no, then no fucking shit did they, like, why everyone should have seen that coming. That's just not a thing.
Yeah, just wait till next year at the Rumble.
Look, wait till next year at the Rumble. But like, look, let's say like fucking Kansas City, Missouri, like you go to a Chiefs game, right? Like, very like fucking red state area to watch your Kansas City Chiefs, and they play like fucking, Mexican national anthem or play like, Canadian national anthem. They're going to boo. Like that's or you fucks are going to boo. Like it's one of those things where you can't get mad at this and then expect something here to happen. Like it's just Pat McAfee got.
Well, even bring it to wrestling terms. What about in the 80s when like Nikolai Volkov or whatever would do the Russian
and they would throw shit at him?
Yeah. And it's just like, I don't know. It's just whether we like it or not. And you and I lean one way specifically. That's probably not that hard to tell. But like,
oh yeah, painted nails, two-tone hair. We love Trump. No, I'm kidding. We don't.
Well, but obviously, like, this country, we're heels right now.
Yeah.
So I mean, and there's no secret.
Like I said, if John Cena is a heel, I'm a heel. It's fine.
Yeah, I mean that's what it is. Like
I align with my guy John Cena, and that's that.
He crash out, we crash out.
Yeah. Speaking of crashing out,
the country's crashing out.
The country is crashing out,
and Canada's pissed about it. So.
Speaking of the country crashing out, Rhea Ripley also crashed out. Nothing to segue into Rhea Ripley, like talking about the state of America, but Io Sky, absolutely big underdog, and much like the anything can happen in the world of the World Wrestling Federation scenario with Cena turning heel, Rhea Ripley lost the title not dirty, but like kind of in a she was distracted by Bianca, and she got pinned 1, 2, 3, and even if she remains in that title picture going into Mania, she's not going in as the women's champion, which is crazy. But
it's wild, and it might be a way. Who knows? It's super cool for Io Sky. I do love the Bianca undefeated thing at Mania. Bianca is like Shawn Michaels at Mania. She has crazy good matches.
She does, absolutely. And the thing is, they are still a little too young in her undefeated streak to like really bring that forward. I feel like because right now in equivalence to the Undertaker, I think this would be like her wrestling Diesel at WrestleMania 12. Like that's how far in she is with Mania so far, which isn't that far. But I feel like you have to have her win the title just for that scenario. And I would also argue that with them trying to build Jade Cargill up, I would almost argue for sure that that's why they didn't run that one-on-one match at Mania, because they still want to keep both of them strong. So might as well have Jade just eat Naomi.
Also, there's not a lot of time. I feel like there's a lot of meat on the bone with a Rhea Bianca feud at some point, and there's not a whole lot of time to execute that right now. Yeah,
that's the thing is Rhea and Bianca. Look, in terms of women on the roster right now, there are not that many dream matches at the moment that are like people are salivating for, and I feel like Rhea Bianca one-on-one is one of them. It's just something that we haven't seen in their current states of where they are at in their careers right now. we've seen almost every other like major star with it, and I'm sure in due time Jade Cargill against everyone will be in that picture as well. But for right now, Rhea Bianca one-on-one is a huge thing, but it is a weird thing where it's like, how do you keep both of them strong where you can only have one win? And I feel like EO just kind of being in there really does even things out a little bit. So if they do a triple threat, I mean, granted, that does kind of bring the Rhea Bianca one-on-one aura down a little bit, but at the same time, that is for sure going to be a banger of a match. So
yeah,
I'm hyped to see it. We'll see where that goes in a few weeks. And then I don't know, would you say that CM Punk last night was Pipe Bomb 2.0?
Pipe Bomb 2.0.
He took the WWE flag off. He bitched out The Rock. He bitched out John Cena. He bitched out Seth Rollins. This entire time that him and Seth have been going at it on the mic, he has only like made subtle references to Becky Lynch, but he did full on name drop her last night. Yeah, absolutely nice fire promo.
Yeah, no, I just love how they started it, with the camera on him in the back, going all the way through to the front, getting on the table, throwing shit around, basically saying his point. The weirdest thing about this whole Cena heel turn and now him main eventing WrestleMania is they have been pushing Punk in this sort of goal to headline WrestleMania for so many months now. It feels so unnatural that it looks like it's not going to happen that way. But maybe that's by design. But it's like for Punk fans, you want that so bad because he's been rallying for it for so long. But I mean, it seems like him and Seth, this is where it's fun because it's hard to predict what's going to happen.
You know what's crazy is where I watched the Chamber, there were more people pulling for Punk than for Cena. And that just goes to show like it's the time for him to main event at Mania, for him to get another world title. Like it's been a while since he's been back.
Now.
The time, yeah. But
before his time is up.
Exactly. But it's been crazy that a lot of time has passed even since his return, and there's still like that hype train for him is still very it's on fire still. And who knows? I mean, right now, as of the making of filming this, like the thing is, it's CM Punk, Seth Rollins in a cage at Madison Square Garden, which will be fun. Does that really settle things? I mean, there hasn't really been an absolute banger of a steel cage match in a long time, so it's not that enticing at the end of the day. It's honestly, steel cage matches are like fun for house show purposes. But
where's the Samoan sex machine, Roman Reigns?
Yeah, I'm sure that he will graze us with his presence, that Jason Momoa build.
You know what I want to see? I want to see CM, if he's not going to be in the main event, I want to see CM Punk basically call a favor with Roman Reigns, and then it's just him and Roman Reigns in a handicap match versus Seth Rollins at Mania, and they just beat the shit out of him. They literally just fucking hog tie him, and they just gang
bang him, just pass him back and forth, man.
Paul Heyman gets involved, and they just beat down Seth for starting this whole thing with the Shield. Yeah, exactly. And they just Drew's on another show at this point, so it seems,
there's no help.
Yeah.
Overbook. Let's have it be a 3-on-2 handicap match.
Yeah.
CM Punk, Roman Reigns, and Paul Heyman versus Seth Rollins and Becky Lynch. We could definitely make that happen in 2K25.
Yeah. I go back to what I said a few episodes ago that it would be amazing if there was some sort of mixed tag match, a Seth Rollins returning Becky Lynch versus a CM Punk returning AJ Lee. That would be the dream scenario for me if we're not getting Punk in the main event. But it is crazy right now. Who knows what's going to happen? And the idea that Roman's not going to be involved is a little weird, but we got time. I guess there is 6 weeks.
Yeah, there's 6 weeks. I think it's a scenario where it's either Roman, comes. I feel like it's the safest bet of Roman comes back. He ends up fucking costing Seth, beats the shit out of Seth. It becomes a thing with them. Punk is still in there, and we got that triple threat. The other scenario that is interesting to point out, but it's a possibility, is maybe Roman is actually left off of the card, and he'll be there, but he'll be there just when the favor happens.
Exactly.
And maybe that
there's got if they're pushing for The Rock too, you got.
Here's another scenario that I haven't really seen many people bring up, and to be honest, it is a weird one. It is kind of a WrestleMania 9 callback, but since it's in Vegas, fuck it. Cena over Cody, and then the favor happens, and Punk stands victorious over Cena, and that closes out the show. Again, kind of WrestleMania 9-esque, but
yeah, I mean, there's plenty of different. At some point, Roman and The Rock are gonna butt heads. So when that happens, who knows? But it seems like right now Roman is busy playing 2K25.
He's busy playing 2K25 when he already has matches set in. The Cody match still needs to happen. Now, I think a lot of people, even though they may not expect it, CM Punk versus The Rock now. I know it's happened twice in 2013, but should happen again. Roman and The Rock. And if Cena does end up getting called back to the light side, like Rock Cena 3, closing out, maybe not his final match, but somewhere in there. But it just seems like these days where The Rock is at in his life, let alone everything, like just having him show up to do a one-on-one thing, it feels like it's asking a lot for him. Like even him saying in that press conference, like, me and Cody don't even have to have a match. And I'm like, man, it's so disappointing to hear, but
You're gonna have a match against Rowan, but not. But
you
not
have a
Cody
match
Rhodes.
against Eric Rowan, a guy that lost his entire kayfabe family.
By the way, I was so sick to see that live though. I will say that. So, because I was there WrestleMania 32, and it's just like, wait a second, we're getting a Rock match? That's crazy.
Yeah, just pulls off, takes off his pants. You're like, oh my god, he's in his trunks.
Yeah. He took his pants off.
He took his pants off. By God.
Yeah.
Yeah. Where were you when it all went down? The chamber. Were you here?
Yeah, I was here at the house. I had some OT to do, and while I was doing that, I got myself, Domino's had a deal, unlimited toppings, $9.99, so I grabbed that. I did actually jump on Discord chat with some of the homie. I'm not a nerd. I only use Discord for wrestling. Okay,
That's not nerdy.
Yeah, it's not nerdy.
It's actually super normal.
Yeah, exactly. I'll use it for music production every now and again. But yeah, so did that.
But I'm not a nerd.
Yeah, totally not a nerd. And I just remember the thing is that you're always trying to sync up the times and all that. We got the timing perfectly, so that way when shit went down, everyone was just like, what the frick, as AJ Styles would say.
As 2008 John Cena would say, right as they shifted to the PG era.
Yeah. And so I mean that's where it went down. And you know what? It's weird. But I am very curious as to when we see him next.
I believe it is the Brussels, the Raw that's taking place in Brussels. So not next week. Raw is in the Garden next week, but the week after.
They have great waffles there.
I don't doubt it.
Because Brussels is in Belgium.
Belgium waffles. Yep. Shout out Belgium.
Yep. Been there. They also, oh, by the way, small thing. They small fact in Brussels, they have a statue called Manica de Piss, and it is of a little baby pissing, right? And actually, at my apartment, we have a bunch of fake ones on the patio. So I could show you a replica of Manica de Piss. And this statue was stolen by many countries, and it was fought over and everything, and they dress it up on certain holidays. And there you go. There's your
some rich trust fund.
fact.
Some rich trust fund white girl invented the "Go Piss Girl" saying at that statue when she visited Belgium.
Exactly.
Yeah, I watched the chamber at the Cosm, which I'm so mad because for those that don't know what it is, although if you watch the PLEs now, they do showcase it for like 10 seconds, where it's basically the mini sphere, like, and they only so far have 2 locations, one in LA, one in Dallas. I feel like they should get other cities other than just those 2, but nonetheless,
yeah, it doesn't affect us.
Yeah, it doesn't affect us. Well, in this economy, in this traffic,
put one in Hollywood.
In this
sure.
traffic, I'm like 50 minutes out, but still, yeah. So I watched it there. It was honestly, I thought it was gonna be kind of lame. It was pretty cool. But I will say, looking down,
You dropped tears at Cosm your first time.
I did drop tears. Dropped piss. I dropped tears.
You
I
had
dropped,
an orgasm.
I had an orgasm. Dude, I'm so glad I didn't have an alcoholic beverage with me. I would have been ejected from there so fast when that happened. I would have football Tom Brady'd that glass right at the
fucking
screen,
like $1.2 million screen or
to
whatever.
the point where there would still be a pixel in it that is just green, and everything else is nice and clear. But
yeah, imagine the Cena heel turn has you crash out so hard that you get sent like a $100,000 bill to fix the screen.
Yeah,
It'd be worth it.
You know what? All would have been worth it. Everyone in that place would have known how I felt, and that would have been enough.
Well, won't they know how you feel because of the upcoming vlog?
Yeah. So here's the thing about that. So I will go ahead and preface.
You didn't want to film yourself crying. I get it.
I didn't want to film myself crying. Like, yeah. So none of the my phone was also very low, but none of the actual turn is in the vlog. But yes, there's some sort of first vlog for this entire thing that ended up
joshing
filming
around.
Just joshing around episode 1. Who knows if we'll stick to that or not, but it features just going there, watching the chamber, some footage from like just hanging out there. I will say, and as you guys will see from the content that's there, the seats and the chairs to like sit down and hang out in over there it's fucking sick. It's a really just overall cool vibe and hang out for like wrestling fans and stuff. But oh my god, I didn't have I was just walking around, general admission, didn't really have a seat, but the actual seats at the Cosm are like, at this point, probably just, they're about equivalent to nosebleed seats at a wrestling show now. Like, it's and that doesn't include food, which is insane. But I'm looking around, I'm like, holy shit, this place is packed, and like everyone here is hyped to drop $150 on their seats and stuff, to look at a screen. But nonetheless, it was a cool time. And also I'm also just a little extra mad because where they showcased it to the live feed of the chamber of, I think the reaction was Jade Cargill beating the shit out of Naomi. I'm just barely not on the screen. Like, it's like a few people that I'm out of the frame from, but
you could have been on the same feed as Cena's heel turn. It would have been legendary.
My God, that would have been so sick. But
yeah, I was there, kind of.
I was sort of there.
This is the modern equivalent of WWF New York at this point.
Yeah, no, that's actually, like, all jokes aside, that's a great way to put it. It is a more modernized version, way more overpriced version of WWF New York. I think it'd be cool if like you get some lower mid-carders that were like never gonna be on the PLE to go ahead and hang out there. Like all I think back to is Big Show, WrestleMania 18, just WrestleMania, baby, woo! Yeah. And like heel Cody, I remember like replayed that over and over as they were feuding one day. But yeah, it was a cool time. I'd probably go back in a few months, but maybe
check
for
out
like
Money
a big
in the
one.
Bank or something.
Yeah, check out Money in the Bank, SummerSlam maybe. But yeah,
CM Punk and Cena at Money in the Bank, you know it.
Yeah, that's
splurge for those
time.
tickets.
Yeah, but stay tuned for a vlog for that is going to drop in the hopefully in the next few days. But
yeah, and on some other housekeeping, I guess while we're at it too. Another thing, we're gonna try to do some vlogs, and then also this giant wall of figures back here is not going to stay sealed. We're gonna do some unboxings for you nerds out there. Just finished and posted one for the first time. We do the unboxing of the Monday Night Wars Ultimate Lex Luger. So if you're a nerd and you want to watch what a $35 Lex Luger looks like with that little premium towel accessory,
the $35 only it was only for those red gems that are in the big gold belts.
It did come with a with the old, you got all the accessories, the different heads, but it did come with the old NWO. He collects the big size belts. I get the little ones.
Yeah.
So
they're nice little things to just go ahead and do like this when you're going to a show.
What is crazy about these new figures, though, you'll see this in the review, though, is that the hair pieces actually like detach, right? So you can do different hair. It is wild. Anyway, so yeah, I'll be doing some unboxings. I'll probably do some vlogs myself when I actually have cool shit to do. My friend has a Limp Bizkit cover band called Pimp Biscuit. Shout out. So I'm gonna check that out tomorrow.
Bizkit. Also, shout out to Limp Bizkit for being in the Shrek 5 soundtrack. Them and MCR.
Absolutely.
But also, please, for the love of God, change those fucking faces on Shrek 5, please. We will bully and dox everyone there just to go ahead like what we did with Sonic the Hedgehog 1. Please, like, just change it back.
Some fixes need to be made. Yes,
some fixes do need to be made.
Imagine if they opened Shrek 5 with the Black Parade.
Welcome to the
Imagine just the piano. I mean, it's so cinematic. They could totally do that.
They could totally, and I feel like they're kind of in the times where it's like, if Shrek ended up yelling at his kid, who is played by Zendaya, I believe, it's just her in her room, and Gerard Way just starts coming out, and we start hearing him, and yeah, it'll be an interesting time.
They better not kill off Donkey. I don't know. I just feel like Shrek 5, once they get into these things, like once after a movie has been gone for 20 years and then they bring something back or whatever, they always try to do something like super dramatic.
Fucking Star Wars, man. I don't want to spoil anything, but Han Solo dies. I just spoiled everything. But
and he like kisses his sister. Oh wait, no, that's someone else.
Yeah. Oh yeah. You're right. That was someone else. Anyway,
whatever. The whole point though is, I mean, the face, it could be better.
It could be better, and it will be. I'm manifesting it right now. There's no way they're keeping that. We all hate it.
He'll drive to DreamWorks right now.
I'll drive to DreamWorks right now, and you know what? I'll make them a deal. Fix the faces, and I'll let you kill one character, and we'll make it Fiona. But you know what?
Just make it happen. But yeah, I mean, look, they got a year and a half. Comes out in December
2026.
So they got time. I think Sonic had way less time.
At this point, it's a race between that and GTA 6. We'll see which one actually comes out first. If we got the Cena heel turn before GTA 6, we might get Shrek 5 before GTA 6 at this point, if GTA 6 is ever coming out. Also, this has nothing to do with anything. I just want to shout out Anora for winning Best Picture, because it is the first movie that was nominated at the Oscars for Best Picture in like years that I was rooting for that actually won. Keep making independent movies, everyone. That movie was made for like $5 million, which I mean, it's fucking nothing for like a Hollywood
fucking nothing.
It's fucking nothing. Donald Trump got a small loan of $1 million. Like,
$5 million for
nothing.
a movie?
It's nothing.
Yeah. Shout out De Niro's speech. That's all I saw.
Dude, shout out Joe Pesci's speech in 1990 for winning for Goodfellas. Have you ever seen Joe Pesci accepting the award for Goodfellas?
I feel like I may have. This rings a bell.
He just goes, "Well, this is great, thanks," and then leaves. True. Fucking love Joe Pesci. And also, we are going to AEW Revolution this week. So on top of the vlog for the Cosm that I'll be doing, there will also probably be one for good old AEW. And honestly, we don't really talk about AEW that much, and it is what it is. But the card looks pretty fucking good. So, and not to mention, we're getting Big Boom AJ in the pre-show.
Oh wow, yeah, I didn't know that. We'll see that. We both really like AEW. I think it's just, you go through periods, companies, they're hot, then they're not, or whatever, and then this is just a period. Hopefully, my friend actually thinks that Moxley is retaining, which is interesting. So we'll see.
Okay, absolute tinfoil hat moment, and I'm gonna call back to like Joe Rogan and be like, I'm not a doctor, I'm not a booker, and I don't know all the details, all the contract details. But imagine a world where Mox loses and he's done, and then we get some sort of Shield thing at Mania or something.
Wishful thinking.
It's super wishful thinking.
I think he's happy that he probably gets treated like royalty there.
If we got a Cena heel turn, damn it, anything can happen in the world of
all elite wrestling.
Everything. Yeah. The world of all elite wrestling.
We'll
see. But yeah, until then,
Yeah, I mean, we basically look. This was a very wrestling heavy episode.
You know,
and-
fuck it. Bring Me the Horizon's going on tour.
Yeah, see, that's what I'm talking
There we
about.
go. I couldn't let you go without glazing my boy Ollie Sykes, who is 40 and he looks like 19.
I mean, once you get up there, look, you either die a metalcore band or you live long enough to become a hard rock band where you get hella cash and then you can
Who has
de-age
just
yourself.
the absolute just greatest face, like just fucking skin ever. Shout out Bring Me. Shout out Polyphia. Who's another band that has a front man that has just the most angelic face?
Bone Steel.
Yeah, shout out Bone Steel. And I think that's it. I think that's the trifecta.
But at Motionless and White, I mean, you know, there's a lot of makeup there. You can't really tell.
Honestly, you know what?
He looks like Rhea Ripley.
We'll keep calling back to Ronnie Radke too. Like Ronnie,
good skincare
Good
routine.
skin.
Yeah. So,
look, everyone that we just mentioned is
metal's about fucking breakdowns, heavy riffs, and good skincare.
And looking 20 when you're 40.
That's the goal right there. Trust me, I got my retinol right now. I'm working on it.
Oh, dude, my Patrick Bateman routine is it goes crazy.
Let me tell you, all these men with all these like I can't get hair transplants, I can't get Botox. Fuck that. If I get the money, lay it on
everything.
Credit card, Botox, hair transplants, veneers. I want it all. So just give it all. So no shame. This whole thing about Cena, like, you know, being chill with all that, I'm so jealous of it because I can't.
Yeah.
I will go into debt. I have gone into debt multiple times.
We'll go into more debt.
And I'll go into more debt, damn it. Anyways, Motionless and White is open. That's going to be a sick tour and all that. Shout out to my friend Brian, who I think just flew to meet. Like, he does all their video stuff. So, yeah. And his stuff is insane. He's so good.
In LA, they're playing the Dome. That's where we just went to Raw on Netflix. That place is a huge place for, honestly, both of those bands to be at and play. I'm sure tickets will be like about the same price as what we paid for our Raw nosebleeds, but you know, we'll cross that bridge when we get to it.
Yeah, we have to worry about WrestleMania tickets first. WWE, how much money do you want? How much money do you want from us? You see how many figures I got back here?
Listen.
You see how many t-shirts?
I see that your guys' seats right by the ceiling dropped by $50. That's nice. But when you have the fees on top of that still bring that ticket to just under $500 for a single day at Mania, no. That's it. Like, no. So
I mean, we're gonna pay for it. We're gonna buy it anyways. But like,
we're gonna go. You're gonna have.
We're not gonna be happy about it. Until we're there.
Yeah. And if we end up going and we pay close to that ballpark, we will still be there and we'll go crazy. But we are gonna complain about it the entire time.
We will bitch.
We will. If there's one thing we're gonna do, we're gonna bitch, and that's why we have a podcast.
Exactly. And speaking of the podcast, soon enough you're gonna be able to find this on YouTube. We're gonna launch the YouTube channel along with 10 episodes from the past and then all future episodes on there, as well as a bunch of shorts. That's where you're going to find the vlogs, figure unboxings, and all that other stuff. So you can go and subscribe to that now if you want, which is youtube.com.
youtube.com/@countoutclub.
And if you don't, then Cena's going to come kick you in the balls.
And you know what? I know some of you guys might want that. I promise you, so many potential children of yours will. It might be hard for you to impregnate a woman, and not that you probably have to worry about that anyway. But
you know, it's just something to think about.
It's just something to think about.
If you don't want to get kicked in the balls by
one of these days, maybe you might go ahead and like treat not wrestling as not your entire life, and maybe develop a nice skincare routine. And when you do, you might meet a nice woman.
I don't know about that.
We'll see.
We'll see.
But until then, just protect your balls.
From John Cena.
And me.